And a lot of players take them to heal faster for recovery. There is still no true proof that that made them a better hitter. And to me, the skill of actually hitting a baseball and actually making enough contact to have a home run has nothing to do with PEDs. It's a skill set. It's timing. It's knowing the pitcher. It's all of that combined, and you erased it all over one thing.
Like, you're a pro athlete. You're already just like this bionic version of what a normal human
Yeah.
being is supposed to be like anyways. Like, who cares? Like, when you look at, I'll say Derek Jeter again, because he is not like, he does not look like an athlete.
No, if you
He
saw him
worked
walking
harder.
on the street, you could walk by him because he looks like a regular guy.
Mhm.
I felt the same way about Derek Carr. I was at a Radio Row, and Derek Carr is one of those guys that he doesn't run with like a huge posse. He was just so low key. He was dressed casual, and he walked by our table with Sirius, and I was like, "That's Derek Carr." I'm like, "Wow, he's not a big dude, and he's so low key." It'd be the same way with Jeter.
I think, like, I saw David Wright in person once. I'm like, he's pretty yoked. Like, I wouldn't know it on TV, but like he's in pretty good shape. A lot of the pitchers who, like Max Scherzer, I'm like, wow, he's pretty veiny. Like, he's
God, they've got to be so lean. And also, they really don't get a lot of like big meal time during the season. Between practice and meetings and going back to the room, maybe some treatment, maybe a nap, some food. Their schedule is really intense. Baseball is intense. Basketball is intense too, but it's a lot of travel. It's a lot of moving around and being in different beds. It's a lot of adjusting to different food in different cities and like just getting by to eat your pure protein, plain chicken breast bullshit that we'd all be yoked if we were on that schedule.
Exactly. Who, in your opinion, that you've met is like the coolest athlete that you've ever met?
Oh, man. I mean, I think Barkley is just so cool. He's just funny. He's charismatic. And the fact that, I don't know if you saw when he was on McAfee and he talked about the fact that he won't be on social media. He's like, being rich and successful is like being the prom queen. All the ugly
day,
bitches
yeah.
hate you. Like when he said that, I was like, oh my God, I love him even more. He's fantastic. Michael Irvin was just with us here at FSGA Winter Conference in Vegas last month, promoting the Stunt app, which I think it's really cool. It's like an OnlyFans for sports people.
Yep.
And what's great about it is people are gonna be able to sell their content, whether it's rankings, articles, what have you. I think it's really gonna take off. I think it's very cool. So he's always been incredibly nice. That's a tough question because I go through my Rolodex of how many people I've met, and I just think I'm so fortunate to know so many people, and everybody's been really cool to me.
Man, I mean, it's to me, there's athletes, of course. There's rock stars, which can go either way. I've met really awesome rock stars I think are the greatest human beings in the world. I've met rock stars that, oh, wow, they were dicks.
Yeah, you're just an asshole.
Uh-huh.
You're making more money than you deserve, whereas athletes really had to work for it. I think there's something different. And I think they actually have more interaction with their fans. I walked out Frank Gore 2 Decembers ago when he was fighting in a Jake Paul fight.
Yeah.
And so I worked with Frank Gore and LaShawn McCoy when I was working for Bovada. Before sports betting was legal, the money as an influencer was in the offshore books. Like, it was so sad. Like, I wanted New York to legalize sports betting, and at the same time, I'm like, I can no longer promote a shady offshore book. This sucks. But walking out Frank Gore, his kids, his family, he's a great dude. I did a bunch of lives with him, and when I would do lives with Shady, Shady and Leonard Fournette were really good friends, and Shady and Frank Gore were really good friends. Frank Gore was actually the athlete that convinced Shady not to stay in school for another year and to play football instead. And the way he convinced him was his agent took him over to his house. Shady is at the door, and Frank's like, I'll be right back. And he comes from his safe with like a shit ton of cash. He's like, do you want this? Do you want this? Or do you want to go back to school? Like, what do you want to do? And like hearing that story, but Fournette would come on after a big game. He had that Fort Tutty game 2 seasons ago. And he's like soaking in his bathtub, on a live with us, on an IG live, just killing it, just making me laugh. So like, they are just fun people that want to interact with other people. Like athletes are just different.
Like I met McAfee and AJ Hawk for Super Bowl week in Phoenix this past week. They're just exactly who they are on TV, which is great. I met A-Rod. I have a funny A-Rod story.